Hi, Kev here, Tabletop Upgrades, another Workshop Wednesday where I'm going to share with you my 2-second lean improvements for the week. And the focus of this week's improvement has largely been reducing laser residue on the back of parts because it results in a lot of cleanup, and also it's not a great customer experience. I've never had a complaint, but I want to make sure that it's absolutely premium when the customer receives my package. They have absolutely no sign of the thing ever touched a laser cutter, so no marks, streaks, etc. So what I did to address that is I did a 5 why analysis, because it's not quite as simple as just clean the parts better. There's a way to prevent the parts from getting dirty in the first place. So this is my attempt at that, and I'd love to hear your feedback on how I did on this.
So the stock bed on my laser cutter is a honeycomb bed, which clogs up with plastic, causes loads of residue and absolutely stinks. And it's really difficult to remove and clean, so something needs to be done about it. But I don't think it's just as simple as cleaning it more often. So I've decided to do a 5 whys or root cause analysis to see if we can get to the problem. So the way this works, and I've learnt this through the Lean Chat and also in a distant memory on my engineering degree. I've got laser residue on the parts. So why does that happen? Well, you ask why 5 times. So 1, why? Well, the plastic residue on the bed vaporises and condenses back on the cold plastic. You end up with stains on the plastic and like a goo, a tar on the bed. Why? Why does that happen? Well, it happens because the bed isn't clean and that residue gets heated up, vaporises. Well, why isn't the bed clean? Well, basically I don't clean it regularly enough. Why don't I clean it regularly enough? Seems simple enough. Well, actually, there's a number of reasons, and this is where I kind of diverge a little bit. The first, it's a honeycomb bed. It's too fiddly. There's loads and loads of holes. It takes a long time, and also it's too hard to take out. It's pushed in there with an interference fit, so it's actually really difficult to pull out, and it's not something that I'm in the habit of doing. Also, when I do pull it out, I've only actually cleaned this thing twice since I've owned the laser, but as soon as I remove it, the honeycomb bed sits back in the sub bed, and I have to reset the datums in all of the programs, which is an enormous task and always scares me off from cleaning it, because that can be hours and hours of work. Also, I don't have easy access to the cleaning equipment. It sounds silly, but I need a paint scraper, and I don't have easy access to one, so I tend not to do it because it's not easy. So I've gone through each of these sub points. I've asked why for each of them. Why is the honeycomb bed too fiddly? Well, actually, I think all it is it's just not suitable for plastics. It's used really for floppy materials like rubber stamping and leather and things like that. So I think maybe what I need to do is swap it out for a steel sheet, and it's too hard to take out because it's an interference fit. Well, what I need to do is have something that's a little looser, maybe use magnets just like that front panel that Phil suggested the other day. Removing the bed means resetting datums. Well, not all my programs use a bed datum. Some of them I use laser registration marks, but that's very difficult because I do it by eye, so I need to investigate a camera system. And what I can do, I can also reference off my datum coin, so I can have a floating datum rather than just off the hard datum of the bed. So that one can be solved, which will make, in turn, going back up the chain, me more likely to clean the bed more regularly. Also, don't have easy access to cleaning equipment. This is the easy one to solve. I'm just going to get the right cleaning equipment and keep it where it needs to be. Wherever the question's asked, that's where the answer needs to be. So I've gone through each of these steps and come up with basically a solution, I think, at each level. So obviously, if I sort this one out down here, upstream problem should go away. But it tends to be, these ones are a little bit simpler. So plastic residue on the bed, vaporises and condenses back on the plastic. Well, what happens if I put a bit of paper under each sheet? That'll take the vaporised bed, the smoke residue, so that'll help cut out some of the staining on the plastic. So I'm going to start doing that. Also, I actually found when I fixed my extractor this week, I had a hole in my extraction pipe, which is a bit embarrassing. So I'm getting improper extraction. There's more smoke vaporising on the bed than there should be, so that's an improvement. In answer to clean, well, I am going to clean it, but I'm also going to put a disposable bed protection just in the case. I'm going to use some aluminium foil. So once a week I'll pull that away and I'll hopefully avoid the painful task of having to scrape and clean it. So more regular cleaning with a disposable bed film. I'm going to build that in, so I do it every Monday as part of my 3S. And I am now convinced, the more I've thought about this, the honeycomb bed is just the wrong bed for my purposes. So I'm going to move to a sheet base, and I'm going to make some more datum corners because they've worked fantastically well. My final action, which is kind of a massive project, is to investigate a camera kind of magic eye system for registering datum marks, because that's going to up my quality. It's going to save a ton of time in running back and forth. So that's my first effort on doing a 5Y root cause analysis. So I've come up with some really actionable items that is going to hopefully improve the quality of my components, but also save me a ton of time and reduce the smell and the cleaning. So fingers crossed, that's going to bring about some good changes, and all those things are going to get added to my Lean 2-second improvement tracker.
So after considering this whole process, it made me look at the extraction system. I had it to bits, cleaned it all inside, so it's now spotless. I've also got a spares list just in case it fails. Then I looked at the very temporary setup with the extraction pipe. It's actually a dryer pipe and it's woefully inadequate. It actually collapses and causes the motor to overrun, but also reduces airflow, so it increases some of that smoke in there. So I've just had to temporarily hold it in place with some duct tape, which is not ideal, but I've got a long-term solution coming when I move into the workshop, so let's have a look at that now. Down here I've got some extremely heavy-duty ducting pipe which just won't collapse. So that is basically, the laser is going to be going here, and it'll extract out the back, go through that wall into the partition, and it'll have a straight run through to make sure that the airflow is nice and smooth and there's no kinks or anything in the pipe. And while I'm here, this is the workshop, getting closer and closer to being finished. Completely bare floor now, skirting boards to go in this week, and then we can get in with putting the bench there. So this is currently my most popular product. It's a set of wound trackers I've called war dials. The way I'm currently producing them, I etch them, and then I've got to pick out like the centre of this 8, the 6, and I've got to clean up any little paint spots like this. Now I've moved from a traditional paint technique to using an epoxy, using screen printing. The definition is a lot better. It's massively quicker to do, and in fact, at the current order volumes, this is going to save me 6 hours a week, a working day basically, producing it in this new method. I get a better quality, but critically, it ups my capacity from 10 to about 60 a week with my current setup. So given that I've got some distributor orders coming through soon, this is absolutely massive. So a working day back a week, plus the ability to take more orders. Very happy with that one. This is a minor one. Whenever I generate some paper waste now, just paste it in the basket. That way it takes a lot less space. What I was doing before was over-processing. Doing that, it takes a couple of extra seconds. Putting it in there, and it takes up miles more space. So now we've cut some processing out, save space, save time, save motion. It's all good. So that last one, people who aren't following Lean will think I'm utterly mad. That's completely over the top. But one thing I've learned in the last 3 months nearly is that these tiny changes compound, and it's all about these 8 wastes, identifying what adds value to the process and what is basically waste. And as soon as you spot that, you're on a journey where you can't stop. If you see the waste, you've got to eliminate it. So thank you everyone for your support. I'd love to hear some feedback on the 5 whys exercise. It's the first time I've done that, and one thing that I did find difficult is that sometimes you ask why and there's actually 5 or 6 different answers to that particular point. So how do you go about addressing that? But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.